Hello. Um, this has been a really hard week for me. Um, I had joined a support group for customer service people, and I was really excited. I had been recommended to go there, and it's called SupportDriven. And I went there with the intention of getting some help because I've been having trouble finding a job. I've been looking for work for 5 months. I have two young kids, I'm a widower, and I'm running out of money. And I also went there in the hopes that I could share my knowledge and my experiences with others, since I have written several articles that are related to job searching. And so when I joined Support Driven, I was very active. I had some positive comments from certain members who said that I was, um, well, they said nice things. And I was very happy because I felt like, hey, I'm helping people. I'm making a difference. And then yesterday, um, something happened that very deeply upset me, and it got even worse today. Basically, some people, for reasons I don't understand. I'm a very honest, straightforward person. Subtlety doesn't work very well with me, and apparently some people were offended by me coming in there and sharing my knowledge and experience. They felt that I was kicking down the door, that I was being sexist, that I was being dismissive. They said a lot of very nasty things that they don't think that I saw. They made some very cruel comments at my expense, and they were unwarranted and very hurtful and very petty. And I was hurt. I I am sometimes an obtuse person when it comes to understanding certain things, but my intentions were always good. Yet, even when I explained my intentions, I was accused of things that were not true. And it didn't matter what I said. These people continued to insult me, and nobody at any point in time had privately approached me and said, look, I don't know why you're doing what you're doing, but you're pissing people off. You need to change the way you're doing things. Somebody could have come forward. Anybody. There were plenty of people that apparently that felt that my energy, enthusiasm, active attempts to help people were offensive, which baffles my mind, but okay, fine. Yet nobody, not one person, made any effort. And you would think that given the number of supervisors, managers, and directors in customer service there are on Support Driven, that at least one of them would have the goodwill and the knowledge to realize, hey, this guy needs a little intervention. Let's take him aside and help him out. I guess none of them were ever taught that that's what you do when somebody's having a problem or being misunderstood or whatever. You take them aside and talk to them privately. I learned that decades ago. And yet, all these so-called supervisors and managers and even directors stood by and either let it happen or actively participated in denigrating me And sadly, all of the ones who were insulting me publicly and privately were females. Well, I don't know. I'm very confused about the whole gender thing these days. But they were all in the female-only channel. So, you tell me. I don't know. And it didn't matter what I said. It didn't matter that my intentions were good. It didn't matter that... It didn't really matter what I said. They just piled it on, and I mean, I can read to you the things that they said about me. Now, when I joined this support group, I was still using my old Gravatar avatar, which looked a lot like a black square, except if you were to look, expand it a bit and look carefully, you could see my hand and my face. And I had made it as a joke years ago, just kind of poking fun at superstitions. And I never meant anything by it, but other than a bit of humor. But they were saying it was creepy, and they were saying it was scary, and why would anybody have some kind of a picture like that? And well, I'm sorry. I never meant anything by it. It was just supposed to be funny. But you didn't take it that way. Okay, fine, I get it. It's dark. It's hard to see me. So I changed it. I changed it to a picture my daughter took. She had taken some lotion and drawn a smiling face on the top of my head because she thought that was funny. So she took a picture of it. So I put that up, and one of the women implied that it might not be lotion. And you can decide what she was implying it actually was. She didn't say it, but it was pretty clear that she thought it was something disgusting. They were attacking every aspect of me. They attacked my name. They said, oh, his name is so formal. That's my name. I'm sorry if you don't like the fact that my parents gave me that name. Take it up with them. It's my name. They went on and on and on and saying all these very petty, nasty, vitriolic things about me when they didn't even know me, and none of them had made an effort to communicate with me. Not even the ones whom I had been complimentary towards, which was the most hurtful. That people whom I had complimented in public on this support group, then in private were bashing me, saying questionable things about me. That was just uncalled for. There were certain people who were really, really determined to just have a witch hunt with me. And so, they looked me up on Facebook, they looked me up on LinkedIn, and the only good thing was when they saw about my wife, they said, well, we're not going to touch that, which is a darn good thing. Because if they had dragged my wife, who died of cancer, into it, all bets would have been off. But I don't even understand how they could be so just plain mean. I never deliberately did anything on that support group to hurt anybody. On the contrary, I tried my best to be helpful. But the reception I got was cold. And then these women decided, oh, well, he's such a horrible human being. because he's so active. Now, I have to be honest, there were certain members who were exaggerating. They used words like every time and always. They claimed I was involved in every single conversation, that I was derailing conversations, that I was making contributions to conversations that had nothing to do with what they were talking about. Well, excuse me, but when I made contributions, they did have something to do with it. Whether you appreciated it or not is a different thing. But if you don't want feedback, if you don't want your questions answered, don't put it in public. And if you get an answer from somebody, don't complain about it. Come on, be mature. Is that too much to ask? You ask for help, you ask for information, and somebody gives it to you, and your response is, oh, he's a horrible human being. Look, maybe you were hurt by some guy or some guys. Maybe you had bad things happen to you. Well, so did I. I've had some really crappy things happen to me too, but you don't see me running around bashing people, saying nasty, uncalled for things about them. I don't do that. And for you to do that, given your roles in customer service, I just wonder how you even got your jobs. So I'm sorry that I offended you by accident, but it was never my intention. I am not a male rights activist. I have always been an equal rights activist. I have always been vocal about how I feel that women should be treated fairly and equally. Always. Since I was a child. And that's long before you were all born. On top of that, I have been vocal in my support of the LGBTQ community. I don't always understand how you feel about things, but I support your rights. But when members of that community attack me, and some of them were, by their own comments, clearly members of that community, you do your community, the LGBTQ community, a disservice. You set back good relations with those who are actually on your side. Think about that. Because not only did you disparage me, but then you went to the owner of SupportDriven, Scott Tran. And Scott apparently never learned the basics of how to deal with somebody who's having problems either. Because instead of taking me aside privately, which is what any good manager, any good director, any good supervisor would know, he publicly shamed me on a board where there are lots of employers. Basically, he has ruined, through this public shaming, any chance that I could make it up to the people on the board. And most likely the companies that I'm currently interviewing with are going to drop me like a hot potato because of what he did. And because they couldn't see the nasty way people were talking about me behind my back. Look, I'm not a rich man. And what you've done is very, very wrong. But you know what? I forgive you. Even though it probably means I'm going to lose my apartment, my kids and I are going to be living on the streets, I forgive you. You don't know me, and you didn't make an effort to know me. You didn't make an effort to help me. And even when I privately approached some of you to apologize, some of you didn't want to hear it. But I forgive you, because that's the right thing to do. I won't ever go back to SupportDriven. I certainly won't recommend it to anybody. There's way too many people in there who are angry and I don't know. I don't know what. Get some therapy or something. Get some help. Because just get some help. I never meant to hurt anybody. I only wanted to help. I only wanted to contribute, to be a positive member, a constructive member of that community. I only wanted to do good. So for those of you who felt I was being annoying or dismissive, or I was being sexist or chauvinistic, I'm sorry, I wasn't. For those of you who felt I was offensive or overbearing or kicking the door down, or what were the other phrases you guys used about me? There's so many of them. That's not me. You would know that if you actually took the time to get to know me. You would know that I have a good heart. You would know that I was trying to be helpful. If you don't want somebody's help, don't put it out publicly. And if you do put it out publicly, accept it with good grace. And don't backstab somebody because they're helping. I just really don't understand that kind of behavior. Maybe you're just too young to understand how much damage you've done to my family and my chances of being able to support them. Maybe you don't know how much damage and how difficult you are making it for me. Maybe you don't care. I don't know. But I am sorry. I am sorry that you decided to judge me without knowing pretty much anything about me. So, why don't you think about that? Think about the damage you've done. And remember, my kids are young. They're 10 and 14. They need a good home. They need to be taken care of. And when people do things like this to me, it makes it really hard for me to do my job well as a father. Now, I know some of you are probably going to say, oh, he's such an ass. Well, guess what? Maybe I am. But at least my heart is in the right place.